Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Mrs. R. Let's do some math. Hi there, we're going to work on absolute value equations today. Now, just a quick review on absolute value. Absolute value is how far away a number is from zero. It's this, how big is the gap? So if that's a 7, right, then the absolute value of 7 is 7 because there's a gap of 7 between 0 and 7. But where this can get a little bit strange is because the distance doesn't matter which direction you're going. So if we look at -7, the gap there is still 7 units long. It's just 7 in the negative direction instead of 7 in the positive direction. So we would say the absolute value of -7 equals 7, which is the same as the absolute value of +7. So absolute value equations tend to have two answers, two possibilities. There's two things we need to think about because it's the value they give you, the absolute value number, like that red 7, that's just a distance. But we have two different directions we can go and we have to analyze both. So we're going to do a couple of examples. Here's the first one. The absolute value of the quantity k minus 10 equals 3. So when we think about what we're looking at, if we have a number line, that means the distance of whatever this quantity here is, this k minus 10, right? The distance there is 3. But remember, we could have that as the negative distance also. So that k minus 10 could be representing a +3. Or it could be representing a -3 because it could be from either side. So basically, we have to solve both of these. Luckily, these are not difficult problems to solve, but you do have to do them each one by one, carefully consider them. So k could equal 13, or look at the other one. Now, luckily, the steps we take to isolate our k are the same because that expression inside the absolute value, we're using the same thing. So k could equal 13, or k could equal -3 plus 10 is 7. So it's a two-part answer because absolute values can go in two different directions. So here's another kind of similar idea. Think about this number line. The absolute value of whatever 6m is, wherever that lands, is 42 units away from 0. So 42 units away. Now, obviously 42 is 42 units away. But -42 is also 42 units away. So again, we have to split and basically solve two equations. We need to see, okay, what if we're going in the positive direction and this really is +42? Or what if we're going in the negative direction and that 6m is actually equal to -42? We're going to have two answers. So it was 6 multiplied by m, so we'll divide to cancel that to 1. And we get that m could be 7. Or start on the other equation, divide by 6, because we're still isolating that m. But now we get that m could be -7. And so again, we have a two-part answer. Now, where these can get a little bit tricky is when you don't start out with just an absolute value of something equals plain old number. Sometimes you might have a situation where it actually has other things happening. Like maybe this example, 4 times the absolute value of n plus 8 equals 56. So when we're thinking about our absolute value line, right, and here's our 0, we're not ready to mark what our distance is yet because this part is our distance. And we don't know exactly what that is yet. We know 4 times that distance is 56, but we don't know what that distance is. So we have a step we need to take first before we split things. We need to handle that 4. Now this was 4 times the absolute value of n minus 8, so we're just going to divide by 4. That'll cancel those to 1. But if we do it on the left, we have to do it on the right. So then we have the absolute value of n plus 8 equals 56 divided by 4 would be 14. And now we know what our distance is. So that distance is 14. That's our n plus 8 distance. So now we know when we split, we're going to be looking at positive 14 and negative 14. And then we've done the hard part already, really. Isolating your absolute value first and then analyzing what this means for our distance. Now we just need to subtract 8 a couple of times. So on that first one with our positive 14, we're going to end up with n could be 6. Or if we go in the negative direction, we're still going to subtract that 8. But that would give us that n equals negative 22. So just keep in mind as you're working on these absolute value equations that that absolute value is representing a distance from 0. And that distance could go in either direction. So as you go to solve, you do have to split and consider both directions. You solve 2 equations when they give you one absolute value equation. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit like because that'll help us make some more videos. I'm Mrs. R, and this has been me doing math. See you next time.